AITA for not lying to my son after he learned his mom cheated on me with his stepdad. Let me start by saying that co-parenting isn't always a war zone, but in my case, it's never been anything but. From the day my son was born, I've had to fight for every inch of ground as a father, and sometimes I still feel like I'm walking through a minefield. I'm 31 now. I had just turned 20 when my ex, let's call her Laura, got pregnant. We'd been together for 2 years, and while things weren't perfect, I genuinely thought we were building something real. But during her pregnancy, she began to pull away. I chalked it up to hormones, stress, all the things people warn me about when your partner is expecting. What I didn't expect was for her to cheat on me, with a guy I didn't even know she'd been spending time with. That guy, of course, is now her husband, my son's stepdad. Laura didn't just cheat. She left. She moved in with him before our son was born, and to twist the knife, she tried to list him as the father on the birth certificate. That led to a paternity test, a legal battle that lasted over 3 years, and an exhausting cycle of court dates, mediation, and reports to CPS, many of which she initiated with lies so wild they felt surreal. By the time the dust settled, I was emotionally wrecked, financially strained, and permanently wary of her. But I had 50-50 custody, and that was everything. If you've ever been through a custody fight, you'll understand. Sometimes, just being in your kid's life is a victory. As a result of everything we went through, Laura and I are not friends. We are not cordial. We don't chat at school events or exchange pleasantries. We sit at opposite ends of the bleachers, communicate only through a court-mandated parenting app, and custody handoffs happen through third parties. It's not ideal, but it's necessary. For my sanity and for our son's stability. Now fast forward to 2 months ago. Our son, I'll call him Jack, is 11 now. He's smart, observant, and more mature than most kids his age. One weekend, he comes back from his grandmother's house, Laura's mom, with a storm brewing behind his eyes. I could see something was off, so I sat him down. He looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Grandma told me Mom cheated on you with Stepdad's name. Is it true?" In that moment, time froze. I wasn't ready for that question. I'd always told myself I'd shield him from the ugly parts of our history, at least until he was older. But he's 11, not a baby, and someone else had already opened the door. I had a split second to make a decision. Lie and keep pretending none of it happened, or tell the truth and let him make sense of it in his own way. I told him the truth. I didn't go into graphic detail. I didn't bash his mom. I didn't rant. I just said, "Yes, your mom and I were together when she started seeing your stepdad. That's part of why things were so hard for a long time." He was quiet for a long time. Then he said something that hit me like a brick to the chest. "I don't want to call him my stepdad anymore. I wish I didn't have to see them again." It came pouring out after that. He told me how uncomfortable he feels around them, how they've always pushed him to treat his stepdad like a real dad, how they'd get annoyed when he only called me dad and not the other guy, how they made subtle comments that made him feel like he was wrong for loving me more. And now, knowing the truth, he said it all felt fake. He felt betrayed. I didn't tell him what to think or feel. I told him I'd support him, that he didn't have to like anyone he didn't feel safe or comfortable with. I told him it's okay to be angry, but also that I hoped he could find peace, not hatred. And I asked if he'd be open to talking to a therapist. He said yes. I got the ball rolling immediately. The next week, Jack went back to his mom's house. She grilled him, apparently, because she messaged me through the app in full meltdown mode, accused me of manipulating him, said I should have lied to protect her relationship with him, claimed I weaponized her past. She said that her mother had no right to tell him anything, but that I should have fixed it by telling him it wasn't true. Spoiler, I wasn't going to lie. Then when Jack was back with her the next week, she came to my house, uninvited, unannounced, furious. She told me that a good father would have protected his son from something so painful, that I should have denied the cheating for Jack's sake, and that I was selfish for letting my grudge hurt their bond. Here's the thing, I get it. She's scared. She's realizing that her actions, however long ago, have consequences, and her son is old enough now to begin connecting the dots. But I never told Jack anything with the intention of turning him against her. I just refused to lie. Still, I've been turning it over in my head ever since. Could I have handled it better? Should I have deflected or downplayed it to avoid damaging his relationship with her? Would a better father have spun a comforting lie for the sake of harmony? I don't know, but what I do know is that Jack is not a pawn. He's a person, and he deserves the truth, especially about things that directly affect his sense of identity, trust, and family. I will never speak ill of his mother to him, but I won't protect her at the cost of him. So Reddit, AITA for not lying to my son.